It is time to close out the week on a high note with a fun night of MLB DFS with plenty of good pitching options to discuss, some solid one-offs, and hopefully just a fun way to close things out. So let's dive on in and get you set for Friday night slate of MLB DFS. This is the FanDuel Live Q&A right here on the FanDuel YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter pages. My name is Jim Sanas. I am a senior writer and analyst for numberFire.com, here to take your questions live on air for the next 25 minutes to get you set for today's slate of MLB DFS. As always, no matter where you are watching, you can get your questions in for tonight's slate. We could take the questions in the YouTube chat, also on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. No matter where you're watching, get those questions in. We'll take them live here on air to get you set for tonight. Let's start things off over on YouTube with Diffuse saying, what's up, fellas? What's up, Diffuse? How's it going? What's up, everyone watching out there for today? Meditation Power Unlocked. I'm going to say the full thing today because why not? Best of luck to everyone for today. Best of luck to you as well. Meditation Power Unlocked. I hope your lineups go well for you tonight. First question of the night comes from Kyle over on YouTube. How do you feel about using Montas tonight? So Frankie Montas for tonight is facing off against Seattle. We just picked on Seattle last night with Sean Manaea. He was outstanding. The concern that I tend to have with Montas is that he has pretty drastic home road splits. He is like, there are a couple pitchers I have flagged in my mind as being pitchers that need to bump up quite a bit when they're at home versus down quite a bit when they're on the road. But we have seen Montas pitching pretty well recently. I think that what's encouraging about him is that one of those good starts was on the road against Houston. I stacked against him for that night. It did not go well. Egg on my face there. 10 strikeouts in that game, 6 2/3 innings. That game was on the road. He was brilliant. Also did pretty well against a tough Giants team on the road here. So what I think this means is we do have the green flag to use Montas now, whereas we might not have previously. This is over his past 6 starts with his splitter usage being up, 26% strikeout rate, 3.73 skill interactive ERA. Those numbers are not too bad. So I would say that Montas is in play, Kyle. I would have him below my top 3 pitchers of Zach Wheeler, Lucas Giolito, and then among the value plays, I do prefer Tyler Mahle. But I think that Montas is an option. So if you like him a lot, I would not talk you out of him. I think he does work for today. Just not quite as high as the other ones, but still an option for tonight. Let's talk to Snbrennan 8. Are there any parks with the wind blowing out tonight? We can find that by going to the numberFire games and lineups page. I tend to not care about the wind unless it's out at 10 plus miles per hour. We are kind of out at Target Field at 11, but the way that park is constructed, it's kind of obstructed on the first base side, so I wouldn't really care too much. It's a very small footprint at Target Field, so I don't know if that'll matter. What does matter is this 93-degree temperature. That is good for offense, so big on the Angels for tonight from a stacking perspective. Winds are out in Houston, but I expect the roof to be closed for tonight there, so that doesn't matter. They're out in San Francisco, but that's always the case. They built the park specifically to block off those winds, so that's normal as expected there. I would say there is no impactful wind for today, Snbrennan 8. There are some wind spots, but no impactful wind is the way I describe it. Let's talk to Anthony over on YouTube. David Price, question mark. Pitch count is a concern here for me with Price because he has gone 42, 51, and 66 pitches in his first 3 starts. He's ramping up, and he said that he does want to go longer. If I were projecting a pitch count for Price tonight, it'd be around 80 to 85. That's not quite high enough for me. So I would say no to David Price for now, Anthony. But if he's good here once again, I could see us using David Price down the line once that pitch count does get ramped up. So monitor him and watch him if you can, but I wouldn't use him just yet until that pitch count is out. Let's talk to Julius over on Facebook. Who should I pick in a Detroit stack? So Detroit's lineup is out. Let's pull that up over here and see who's hitting where. You're going to want Eric Haas. I love Eric Haas. He's amazing. Jonathan Scope, very good versus lefties. Robbie Grossman, I'm pretty sure has good power numbers versus lefties. Yeah, 242 ISO. Sweet. We'll take that every day. So those are the 3 guys you want to build around are Haas, Scope, and Grossman. As far as the third guy in that stack, I think you're deciding between Miguel Cabrera, you're deciding between Heimer Candelario, and then Zach Short. For me, I'm kind of interested in Zach Short because It's a very small sample, but good power numbers versus lefties. The reason I care about him more so than that, though, is that he did show some power in the minors before his promotion, a 232 ISO down there, overall decent power numbers for the in the big league. So I would say for me, if I'm building out a 4-player stack on the Tigers, I'll go Scope. I will go with Grossman. We're going to plug in Haas. And we're going to go with Short to fill shortstop. Appropriate there. Let's go with Zach Wheeler here. And then we have 32.50 left on the table. Sweet. I think that's great. I think this is your key 4 for a Tiger stack. I would say the Candelario is an option. Victor Reyes not totally off the table. So you got some guys you could use, but to me, these are the key 4 for a Tiger stack. Let's talk to Alvin on YouTube. Thoughts on the Mets for tonight? This got Rich Hill via trade, which is always fun. Big fan of Rich Hill. They're facing Steven Matz, and he's not fully ramped up yet. He's come off the IL with 48, 68, and 68 pitches in those 3 starts. 21% strikeout rate, good batted ball data. Matz tends to have good batted ball data. The Mets, not the best team in the world versus lefties. So maybe you could consider someone like JD Davis, Pete Alonso from a one-off perspective, but not super high on those from a stacking perspective, just because Matz is not someone who lets up a ton of impactful contact. Let's talk to Twitch or Jackie Moon over on Twitch. Hey, Jim, hope everyone have a safe weekend. Same to you, Jackie. Jackie also says the Red Sox let my boy Tanner Houck down on the run support yesterday. Let me down too, because I stacked the Red Sox, and that was one of the things that didn't go very well. Most of the other stuff did fine, but the Red Sox were definitely disappointing for me as well. Let's talk to Diffuse over on YouTube. Are you looking to just put the Astros righties, or are the lefties in play too? So Kyle Tucker, I'm pretty sure, has good numbers versus lefties. I'm just trying to remember this off the top of my head. So let's pull this up over here. I think that Yuli Gurriel is a tremendous option. I think that Carlos Correa is tremendous. So I feel very confident in putting those guys high on my list. Kyle Tucker versus lefties, 126 plate appearances, high enough to trust, has a 200 ISO and a very low strikeout rate. Ooh, that's awesome. 42% fly ball rate, good batted ball data. The one downside with Tucker versus a lefty versus a righty is that we're not going to get the steals. And that's kind of one of the appeals of Kyle Tucker, is the dual sources of upside. So I'm still good with him, but that does make him not quite as appealing as he always is. Yordan Alvarez, good numbers versus lefties too, 178 ISO, lower fly ball rate, which is a tiny bit concerning, but let's check out see if the lineup is in for Houston yet. And it is. Okay, good timing. So Yuli, love it. Altuve, love it. Brantley, I don't tend to use versus righties even, so lefty is a pretty tough sell for me. So I would say we're looking at Yuli 1, considering salary, Correa 2, Altuve 3. There's no Chas McCormick, which makes me sad. I would go Kyle Tucker 4, Yordan Alvarez 5, and that's kind of the key ones for the Astros for today. I think there's enough value between Correa and Yuli where we can make this work. I don't recall what Kyle Tucker's salary is. So let's clear this out and check out Tucker. He is $3,600. That's not too bad. Altuve is $4,000. So I think that for me, Correa and Gurriel for the value, and then go to Altuve, then probably Tucker, and then I would go to Yordan Alvarez after that. Yes. Did I say Correa? I think I forgot to say Correa. I like Correa, so we'll like him too. Let's talk to Patrick over on Facebook. Can any Baltimore players be used against Corbin in a hitter's park? Let's go over here. The Orioles are not bad versus lefties, honestly. They're actually a team I've stacked decently often. Corbin, this is over his past 5 starts with increased velocity. Corbin's velocity yo-yos a lot. Like, he has some really weird stretches where things are not that great. So it is impactful for me when the velocity is increasing for him. 4.71 skill interactive ERA, 17% strikeout rate, but is doing a good job of suppressing hard contact, and Orioles not the most powerful team versus lefties despite their overall good numbers. So is there anybody you can use? I think you could talk yourself into Trey Mancini for sure. Cedric Mullins, good versus lefties as well. Let's see if the lineup is out here for them. No lineup for the Orioles as of yet. So there's some guys you can use, Patrick, but they wouldn't be super high on my list for tonight. Let's talk to Snbrennan 8 over on YouTube. are the Reds going to be really chalky or worth a look for today? So I think they're worth a look, but I like them more for one-offs versus stacking just because they aren't very good versus lefties. They're very much a team I prefer versus righties, and they're not good against lefties in general, but then you take away Nick Castellanos and they become not a liability, but they're not great, I guess is the way I would say that. LeBlanc also doesn't allow the most hard contact, so I think that you're looking for one-offs here. Aristides Aquino, Tyler Stevenson, Eugenio Suarez, Jonathan India, those types of guys, maybe like one of them. Aquino and Stevenson specifically, super low salaried, so I'd be giving them a look. But as far as a full stack, a little bit lower on them just because the overall team strength versus lefties is not that great. Let's talk to Dan on Facebook. Hey, Jim, any chance on Cueto for tonight? Probably not, but let's take a look here just to be safe. I don't want to write off old Johnny Cueto. It's a good matchup. So Cueto, 3.87 skill interactive ERA. This is over his past 4 starts with his velocity being down. 24% strikeout rates. That's not bad, honestly. It's not the worst profile. So I'd say he probably has a decent floor for tonight, Dan. The concern I'd have would be his ceiling because not the biggest strikeout rate, not a super high strikeout team. So I would say the floor is high in Cueto, but I prefer to shoot for upside, and I don't think that's really the biggest thing he brings to the table. So if you're looking for floor, sure, but for me, I want to look for more upside there. Michael over on Facebook, good call on Albies last night. He's awesome. Dansby Swanson did well. He was the main catalyst for helping me bailing out of my Red Sox stacks last night, so that really helped. Let's talk to Michael on YouTube. I know you initially liked the Angels tonight. It looks like they're sitting both Walsh and Ohtani. Oh boy. Well, I mean, they're both sitting lefties, so I guess maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. Let's see who's in there instead of them. Okay, so that's a bad lineup. Yeah. It's a Kurt Suzuki revenge game. Does that help? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's check out the numbers here versus lefties for this Angels team because I know that Walsh and Ohtani are both lefties, but they're both lefties who hit lefties well, at least from a power perspective. Walsh's results versus lefties haven't been as good, but I care more about the power, and he's had that. Ohtani's a pretty big loss for them. Fletcher, a 1-2-23 ISO versus lefties. Jose Iglesias, 154. Who else did a good spot in the order? Phil Gosselin. Gosselin's at a 115 ISO. Where's Juan Lagares? He is 7th. Okay, what's Kurt Suzuki doing this year? Yuck. Okay, so not only is it those two, but also Stassi is out, and Stassi is probably like their 3rd best hitter against lefties. So I'm going to downgrade the Angels quite a bit as a result of this lineup. I would say that Justin Upton's a good one-off just because I know he just came off the IL, but we know he has great power versus lefties. And I mean, he's facing a guy who will let up dingers, 93 degrees outside. So yeah, Michael, I'm going to downgrade them quite a bit based on the lineup. I'd also mention that we haven't talked about this yet, but for the Dodgers, Max Muncy is on the paternity list now, so that downgrades them. If Mookie can't go, they get downgraded too. So the top couple stacks getting downgraded, which means I talked this morning about how there were good chances that I would be upgrading the Astros stack once you talk me today. I think they're up there now as being one of the better stacks for tonight. I still think the Tigers are good. I like the way their lineup broke for sure. So the Tigers are solid. I do like the Astros based on that lineup. I do still like the Dodgers. I will, despite the fact that they're, hopefully Mookie plays, but despite there being no Muncy, I think we'd still get there. So a pretty big bummer on that Angels lineup. But Upton's still in play for one-offs. I could consider Iglesias as well, but it's not ideal. Jackie says, next time I play Fortnite with him, I'll let him know his teammates let you down as well. So we're talking about Tanner Houck. You played Fortnite with him? That's cool. I like it. Tell him that we want to use him in DFS, and we hope he keeps it up. He also looks like Chris Sale, which is very weird. Anyway, let's talk to Chris over on Facebook. Is Yusei Kikuchi a good start against Oakland tonight? He allowed 12 earned runs in his past 2 starts. However, Kikuchi had 4 consecutive starts, giving up 1 earned run or less prior to that. Kikuchi is a guy who has had a rough little stretch here with a decreased spin rate. This is his past 5 starts with less movement on his 14 fastball, 24% strikeout rate, facing a low strikeout team that has a lot of good righties. So Kikuchi not super high on my list for me, just because tough matchup, tough situation, and getting downgraded a bit as of late. Okay, I accidentally scrolled down. Should not have done. Okay, Kyle on YouTube. Who are you targeting from a Dodgers stack tonight? So again, no Max Muncy. Hopefully Mookie gets in there. I'm guessing Will Smith will probably sit too because he's caught the past 2 nights. I don't know if Price is a personal catcher, but Smith has caught the past 2. The pattern recently has been Smith catches 2 and then gets the night off. So I kind of think Smith will sit. I kind of think, well, obviously Muncy won't play. So I would bet that Matt Beatty winds up being decently high in the order. Let's pull up the Dodgers numbers versus righties. Beatty wasn't hitting for a ton of power initially, but I do want to see if that's changed because he's very low salaried. Could make this a lot easier. Turner's a 179 ISO versus righties. That's perfect. Let's just see what the expected lineup looks like for today to get an idea of who we expect to play. Mookie might. Turner works. Taylor, Bellinger. I don't think Smith's going to play. I disagree with that one there. So AJ Pollock will probably slide up in the order. So Pujols may play because Muncy is out. Okay, so with that in mind, I think Beatty is probably going to play. Did they not have Beatty in the projected lineup? I think he'll probably play. So let's see here. Beatty versus righties, 124 ISO. I'd like that to be a little bit higher. That's not great. If Mookie doesn't play, Billy McKinney probably will. He's minimum salary, 217 ISO versus righties, 40% fly ball rate. I would like that. AJ Pollock, obviously good power versus righties too. So I think we're looking at kind of the outfielders lower in the order. I would say Turner and Taylor, obviously, towards the top of that list because Taylor can steal some bases and they're just good hitters. I do like Bellinger, despite the fact that he's been absolutely horrendous in the month of July. No hits again last night, but did have 3 hard hit balls. So I think we're going to see things start to get better here pretty soon. So we'll see where we're going to see that shake out. But I do think that eventually the hits will come. Pujols I can't use versus righties, so I don't care about that. So I'd say if we're making a list here of guys I'd expect to play, I would go Taylor Turner. I would go AJ Pollock, Billy McKinney if he plays, Cody Bellinger for sure, above those 2 guys. And then that's probably it. So it's a thinner list, but still a team that I am okay stacking given the issues that we've seen Gonzalez have so far this year. Beatty I will use if he bats like 3rd, which he's done semi-recently. So Beatty I would use, even though he hasn't had the most power so far this year. All right, Jackie, free pick. 3 home run hitters on FanDuel today as well. Took Nelson Cruz for one. Didn't even know he was traded until I got the notification from FanDuel saying he's starting tonight. Had a Carlson and Wander Franco home run parlay yesterday for a $600 payout. Therefore, I can no longer root for Franco ever again after letting me down. Yeah, I like Wander Franco a lot, so I don't want to have any reason to root against him. I think that Muncy might have been my home run call because I didn't see the paternity thing until after like 9:40 or so after we recorded the solo shot. So obviously he is out. I'm going to add Yuli Gurriel. Talked about him this morning on the morning after with Errol Epstein and Ben Stevens. I think that he's a pretty good option. Facing Colby Allard, he lets up enough fly balls and hard contact, short porch and left. So I do like Gurriel. I think Eric Haas might have been one of them. I couldn't decide, and I think I went with Haas. So I'd keep him in there too. So we'll go with Haas and Yuli Gurriel for some fun home run picks for today. Let's talk to DJ. Call me crazy, but do you think I should stack the Diamondbacks for today? Are they playing in the early game? They might be playing right now. Yeah, they're playing right now. So don't stack them. That's past lock, and you will lose your money. Julius, Zach Wheeler or Giolito? I like both. I prefer Giolito because he's awesome. He's a very good pitcher. Shocker. Newsflash. Breaking news. Either way, Zach Wheeler, good pitcher. In his 8 starts with more sinkers and fewer 4-seamers, 29% strikeout rate, absurd batted ball data. The Braves no longer have Ronald Acuna Jr. Still a good offense, but 97 WRC plus versus righties. So Zach Wheeler to me, number 1. I have Giolito number 2. That's where I am for right now. Let's talk to John over on YouTube. Would you go Malley or Peralta so I can have a Washington and Detroit stack? I would go with Malley personally, but I do think that Peralta is in play. The reason I didn't want to go in Peralta today, and I did look into him because I think he's awesome. The reason I couldn't get there is because a lot of risk in this profile with a lot of fly balls and a lot of the walks. That can lead to issues in a hurry for a White Sox team that's been trending up in the power department versus righties. They have a lot of injuries, so that definitely does ding them. But I think these 2 numbers here, the walk rate and the fly ball rate, are what scared me off. As far as Malley goes, there's risk there too. He's been walking a lot of guys recently, but facing a lower walk team at the Cardinals. So that's what pushes me over the edge in liking Malley. So to me, I'd go Malley And Malley is my favorite value play for tonight. Let's talk to Jerry on Facebook. I scrolled past it. Sorry, Jerry. Okay, Good Friday, Jim. How do you feel about these teams? Washington, Cincinnati, a couple players, maybe Winker in India or Aquino, and a couple Cleveland bats like Ramirez and Hernandez, maybe Hammy as well. Okay, so Washington is facing Jorge Lopez, not a big fly ball guy, 21% fly ball rate allowed. Obviously, the results against him have not been very good. So that would justify stacking Washington. With no Schwarber, it does downgrade them. So I'm okay not being super high on Washington. I'm going to wind up probably getting there just because the Angels lineup was so bad. But I think that it's pretty grudging. I don't really want to use them. I think it's kind of out of obligation. So lower on the Nationals. Cincy, I do like for one-offs, specifically Aquino and Stevenson. India's up there too, and Suarez as well. Cleveland is facing Josh Fleming. Super low strikeout guy, but also doesn't let up a lot of fly balls. I guess I hadn't seen that confirmed. Let's actually check to make sure it's still supposed to be Fleming. It is Fleming. Okay, so not super high on Cleveland. The Guardians, can we start calling that now for funsies? But Franmil Reyes against the low strikeout pitcher could work. So if you're going to stack Cleveland, Jerry, I would say get Franmil in there just for the lefty masher. Let's talk to Jackie. I need 2 players who will get 3+ hits today. Any recommendations? 3+ is a lot. I don't know, man. So you want to target low strikeout pitchers, I would say. So maybe looking at the Reds, that could be a Stevenson slot potentially. Jose Altuve would be up there, I think. Yuli Gurriel might be there. I would just go Gurriel and Altuve, honestly. Just take the guys who don't strike out and are in a plus matchup. Talk to John already. Mateo says, boy, am I late. I'm late too. I'm behind the question. Sorry, Mateo. Do you like the Cardinals offense versus the Reds? I do not, because I like Malley, or Detroit in 90-degree weather. I like Malley a lot. So no Cardinals for me. I do like the Tigers a lot, though. One of my top stacks for today. I mentioned before, this is probably before you tune in, Mateo. I think that all 4 of Grossman, Scope, and then Haas and Short are guys I want to use quite a bit for today. Kyle, also thoughts on the Nat stack tonight versus Eos. Talked about that before, so good timing there. DJ talked about Freddie Peralta. We talked about that. Jerry said he thinks Tyler Malley should be in a good spot against St. Louis. I agree. John says, I like the Nats and Detroit. My pitcher is a toss-up. Maybe enter them with both. I've done that before. Actually, did that last night. I had a single entry contest where I used I think it was Jorge. So I couldn't decide between Jorge Polanco and Josh Donaldson as my one-off for a Braves and I think it was a Rays stack. So I entered one with Donaldson, one with Polanco, just duplicated it. We talk about that a lot with Brandon Gadula on the PGA side of things, duplicating, differentiating that way. I'm on board with that strategy for multi-entering because I'm indecisive. So we're on the same page there, John. Jackie, my best friend from college, my college baseball team is best friend with Tanner from high school. Okay, this offseason we're supposed to get together and he's going to throw a live bullpen at me. No, thank you. I would not do that. No, I'd be too afraid to take a live bullpen against the pitcher. That scares me. Let's talk to Ryan asking for Eduardo Rodriguez, Peralta, or Price. He's talking about Willie Peralta for the Detroit one or Price. I would go Rodriguez. It's a tough spot because he's faced the Yankees a lot, but I just don't like Peralta or Price just because of the pitch count for Price, and Peralta doesn't get enough strikeouts. So Erod among those, but I'm not super into him. Chris on Facebook, I had to start Kikuchi because I have just 3 straight days to get to 14 innings pitched, but if he doesn't pitch well tonight, I'm going to drop him. I don't need to start his pitching twice this week. Season long, I'm bad at. So good luck to you, Chris. I hope it goes well. DJ, cool. Musgrove, Montas, Malley, Cobb, or Plesac. I would go with Malley there among that group. I can't get behind Musgrove with how bad the form has been. It's rough. And Montas, I think, would be number 2 on that list. Let's talk to Patrick. What are Thompson's chances at San Diego? Also, Musgrove hasn't been that good his past 4 starts. Is he viable? Yeah, I agree, Patrick. He has not been that good. Velo's down. It's not just the spin rate being down. The velocity is down too. So that's a concern. I think that Thompson will pitch well. My worry from a DFS perspective is he probably won't get a ton of strikeouts because the Padres avoid strikeouts. They draw walks. So I'm probably not going to get to Thompson. I think it's a good enough pitching slate to avoid him, but I also respect him a lot and think he'll do well. Just not going to get there for DFS for tonight. DJ is asking, is Bubic worth a look? No, I want to stack against him. I think the Tigers are really good against lefties. So going full against him for tonight. Let's talk to John. Ohtani is out. Is there anyone you suggest as a one-off? I am bummed, John. I wish that we could have used the Angels for sure. So it's a bummer. If we're looking at one-offs, Justin Upton, I think would be a one-off. If you want to stick in that same game, take advantage of the hot weather, take advantage of J Happ letting up a lot of impactful contact. So I would say Justin Upton would be in play from a one-off perspective. Kenneth says he thinks that Garrett Cole will be the least popular ace for tonight. That's probably a good read, Kenneth, honestly, and I think that he works. The reason I was not super high on Cole tonight was because the Red Sox have a lot of familiarity with him. Seen him a lot recently. But honestly, like if he's going to wind up being super overlooked, it might be a very good time to get him. So if you're multi-entering for tournaments, keep Garrett Cole on your list. I think that Kenneth is on the right path there. All right, Jerry has a home run call. He's got Tyler Naquin, and Josh Bell. He also has a lefty-on-lefty call with Conforto. Naquin is also lefty-on-lefty there. Let me see here. Who do I want for a home run call for tonight? If I want to add it was Haas, I think, and then who is the other? Oh, Yuli Gurriel. Okay, so we're going to add one more. Let's see here. I'll add Justin Upton. Why not? We'll add him as another home run call. Michael on YouTube. Has anyone ever seen Dr. Disrespect and Brandon Gadula in the same room? No. Investigate it. I'm highly suspicious. Brandon's on vacation this week. We've not had a Dr. Disrespect stream on FanDuel. You know, show me the evidence that they are not the same person. Show me that evidence, Michael. I dare you. You can't. Exactly. Michael is the investigator we need on this case. Satoshi, what are your thoughts on Phil Gosselin? He's fine. Not enough power for me to love him. He's fine. He's there. He's a guy. It's kind of the same thing with everyone in the Angels lineup for tonight, except for Upton. So he's a guy. DJ asked David Price, not high enough pitch count. And Linda says, what are your top stacks? Big shot. I like that. I'm guessing it was said sarcastically, but Linda, in my head, it was said endearingly. So we're going to go with that, for me for today. I would say Tigers are a top stack for me. Astros bumped up, Dodgers 3, and then it's a fall off after that. So give me Tigers, give me Astros, give me Dodgers for tonight. Final question comes from Jerry. Do you think that San Francisco is in a good spot for tonight? They are facing Chad Kuhl. Doesn't let up enough impactful contact for me. Good offense, but I want to target someone who lets up more impactful contact. So a no on the Giants for me. Linda does not like the Tigers, despite the fact they are undefeated since the All-Star break, despite the fact they put up like 8 runs against Kyle Gibson. So, Linda, we're going head-to-head on the Tigers here. Best of luck to you. We will see how things play out for this night. That is all that we have here for today on the FanDuel Live Q&A. Thank you, as always, for the questions. Make sure you are subscribed to the FanDuel YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Make sure you come back once again next week. We got to stream every weekday, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter will be here talking MLB DFS with all of you. Should be a whole lot of fun. If you have additional questions for me, I am on Twitter at JimSannes, JimSannes. Big thank you to Joy Affleck, working the sticks behind the scenes and keeping us on the air from the video perspective. Thank you, Joy, as always. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Good luck to you tonight, especially you, Linda. I hope that the Tigers fade goes well. We'll talk to you all once again on Monday. This has been the FanDuel Live Q&A.